You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. How prevalent do you think this really is, and what type of exotic tech is being used against these targeted individuals, and why?
Well, why is the big question. And it's interesting how literally when I say what you want, folks, we live in a pretty advanced country when it comes to laws and protections of its people, but there is no law that prevents the experimentation of the federal government on the human populace. Zero. There's no law that protects us from mass experimentation. Even after MK Ultra and even after the revelations of MK Ultra, there is still no law that prevents that. Now, does that say that the federal government, alphabet agencies are testing things on people? I would say more agents of those agencies, more the people that they use for wet work, the people that they use for black bag ops, things like that, where these are wanted technologies. These are technologies that they have talked about and dreamed about for years and years. China admitted back in 2012 that they had a laser that could vibrate the human brain, things like that, to pretty much the point of, Havana syndrome type symptoms, which they are calling the quote immaculate concussion. People are showing white tissue brain damage from these events, like actual tissue damage. So yes, there is a realm of weaponry out there. I think that most of these are in the hands of private individuals who are testing things on behalf of contractors, that kind of stuff. I don't know that there is necessarily a swath going on where it's like, hey, let's irradiate a neighborhood with this, things like that. But there are definitely numerous cases out there that have like the one that got me in touch with Dr. John Hall, who is one of the leading people out there with this technology. He's busy writing a new book on it right now. He's an amazing individual, and we've worked together with quite a few targeted folks, getting them, music, things like that can help alleviate some of the symptoms. But it's interesting the way that, yes, they can find your brain waves at a distance. You can lock into somebody's non-local brain wave. There are studies now shown where not only is MIT able to speak to dreamers in their dream, but actively have them answer questions. There was the new study that was just put out where they actively, with an MRI machine, recreated a Pink Floyd song from people's memory.
Huh.
So they had people come in, go into the MRI, listen to a Pink Floyd song, and then a week or so later come back and MRI them again and say, think about the song. And they were able to actively reconstruct the Pink Floyd song from people's memories. Wild stuff, all done non-invasively. There was the story, I'm not sure how old you are, I'm verging on 50 this year, but there was the story out of the first Gulf War about the platoon of soldiers that the voice of Allah, and laid their weapons down and surrendered. All of them. Voice to skull technology, things like that have existed for years, for decades. So yeah, there is a whole wealth of technology out there. I don't have it handy. I normally do. But I've got a parabolic speaker. They're used in museums, things like that, to basically drive audio in a specific direction. So imagine a parabolic microphone that reaches out to a specified distance. This is a speaker that you can dial in the cone of noise to a specified distance and width. So they use them in museums, things like that, where You walk in front of a painting and suddenly you hear a voice telling you about the painting. And when you step outside of the light, the voice is gone.